I'm not even sure how to start this. I've written it out and I've deleted it and I've started it and I've stopped it and I've played it over in my head. So I'm just going to go with it. I know that they say that you need a hook to grab people's attention and you need to do all these things to make, different episodes perform, but I'm not feeling it. I'm so tired of outside people telling me what to do. And so I'm just going to talk about that a little bit today. It it's kind of showing up in every area of my life, and I don't know if it's my age. I'll be 46 this summer, but I'm starting to see that all over where people are just saying, "Stop listening to what everybody else is going to do." Like you just get to a certain place where you just don't care, and I feel like that's where I'm going. That's where I need to be. I have not been that for far too long. And the more that I realize that, and the more that I step into the things that I do actually want to talk about and the things I do actually want to say, um, the more clarity is coming my way. And so, one of the reasons that this is sticking out to me is that I have talked on this channel about having a community where I help women that want to lose weight, but they run into something, find a quick program, whatever it is, they run into it, and they do good for a week or two, and then they fall off the wagon. And it's that cycle over and over and over. And I completely understand that because that's been my life for basically my entire adult life. And there's a lot of things that I've tried and failed at, I guess you could say. I don't know if it was a failure or if it was a learning experience. I don't know if it was learning experience because I did quit and start several times. But there's a lot of noise out there right now, and there is a lot of things that people speak as if it's truth. And in a couple years, they're going to come back and say, oh, well, that study was wrong, or so and so was wrong. And I no longer believe that way. And I have chased all these other people for so long that I honestly feel like I've lost my voice. And I think there's so many women out there that can relate to that, especially in the faith space. And I'm not saying this like I'm deconstructing or I'm not a believer anymore. Nothing like that. I 100% am kind of doubling down actually on my walk with the Lord in that coming back to Him and listening to His voice and not being fearful of anything that someone else may say. Because when you put yourself out online, it can get nasty. And I think that for a long time, that's been a fear of mine is putting myself out here and being critiqued or having people have differing opinions or whatever that is. But that's definitely not it's not something that I want to hold me back anymore. I think it has cost me too much of my life in my health, in business, in finances, in my parenting, so many different ways. There's so many ways that I do feel really um, able to stand my ground and to have my own opinions, but there's also so many ways that I have shrunk back and chased things that people said were better for me than what I thought was better for myself. And so I just want to I guess, tell a little story about something that happened this weekend. So, ever since I announced I was doing that community that I have been convicted about for years and have pushed off because business coaches, quote unquote, have told me there's better ways of doing business, there's quicker ways to make money, whatever that is. I've always had this gut feeling that I wanted to have a community that was accessible for women to come into, that they could afford it. Um, that I could share my own journey and the things that I'm learning because I love learning about this stuff and I kind of dump my heart and soul into mindset and behavior change and psychology and how that matches up with my faith and all these different things. But everybody doesn't have the ability to do that. And so I wanted it to be that. I want it to be like-minded women. Um, I guess my main thing is that the one thing that I noticed huge about my or that is huge about myself is that I would run into something and then I would stop. And so I never got any results because I never followed through. And so what I have realized is that people say don't say mindset. People don't know what that means, but the way that you see the world around you and the thoughts you have about different things in life and all of that, those are the things that cause emotional eating. And if you don't figure out why you're emotionally eating, you're never going to follow through. Or if you do follow through, you're likely going to gain your weight back because you never figured out the why behind why you're turning to food for a coping mechanism. And that has been so incredibly big for me. The way I think about food, the way I relate to food, the things that I eat, they are so incredibly different now than what they have been in the past years. And I just don't think anybody within diet culture, the fitness industry, wellness, whatever that is, I just don't see people talking about this part of it. Like they can give you macros, they can tell you to count your calories, they can tell you to do whatever. And I'm going to do a whole separate episode on that because I've had some kind of aha moments about that as well. The actual like nutrition of losing weight. But for right now, I just want to focus on like the mindset piece that I don't see people talking about. And you can white knuckle your way to anything, but is that really the way that you want to live your life? And what are you going to do when, you know, if you're losing weight right now, that's the payoff. Like that's the excitement, the people giving you compliments and asking you what you're doing and all of that. You can probably stick to something because of all that. But when you get to goal weight and all of that fades away and you're not working towards that goal anymore, then what's going to happen when food was always your coping mechanism? When your life is quiet and you got the things that you wanted, but you didn't take care of the background noise that was causing you to eat in the first place, what's going to happen? And that's what happens to a lot of women is that they chase these um, quick things or, whatever it is. Even if they put in the work and it takes a long time and they lose it, a lot of women still gain it back. And it's because they never did that work to replace the reasons that they were emotionally eating. And so the thing that happened to me this weekend, um, I've been, like I said, struggling with this community aspect because all of the coaches in my life basically were telling me that a community is not the way to go. It's going to take you forever to make money and you don't make a lot of money. And because people aren't paying very much, they're just going to come in and leave. Um, Also, the thoughts of, I want to talk to women that quit on themselves a lot. And so what's going to happen if they come into my membership or into my community and it's not necessarily what they thought it was or whatever, like are they going to just come in and let this be something else that they quit? And so all of these things have been basically um my mind telling me why I shouldn't do this. And it's gotten me in my head about it. And this is the same thing with weight loss. You can absolutely apply this to weight loss. You make a decision that you're going to eat a certain way and then this is what your brain does. And all of these could be very justifiable reasons why I don't start this community. But yet in my gut, I keep feeling the Lord say, start the community, start the community, start the community. It's been this way for years, like I said. And so I redid a sales page, which I hate. I hate sales pages. I spent like a week redoing a sales page because I was going to change something and I was going to charge more and I was going to change this about it. And I was going to change that about it. And um, I watched like three more coaches that were like, no, you have to do it this way. This is why you're not getting sales. Go do it that way. And I was getting to where I was kind of starting to crave foods that I don't really want to be eating again. And I didn't even really like the taste of them when I was eating them. However, the stress of these business decisions and the stress of feeling like I have to be perfect to show up to be able to do this was starting to get to me again. And it was like, on one hand, I could see it happening. And on the other hand, I was just like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to do this. This is not what I'm supposed to do. I just need to go do something else. I can't handle this pressure. I'm never going to be able to walk this out. And even doing these episodes, I've been gone for a couple weeks and I told myself that I was going to release one a week starting the beginning of the year. And I did really good. And then I got to a place where I'm like, oh, my stuff isn't ready. I'm going to work on that because I have to have something to sell if I come on here. And just so many voices. And so as I was feeling that and I was feeling these like food related things starting to creep up again that really haven't been a problem lately since I did all of the mindset work and realized like the lies I was believing and the lies I was walking in and all of those things, all the identity pieces, the food noise started creeping back in. And I've been watching some videos about like biblical discipline and God calling you to do something and all of these different things. And then yesterday morning, it's been a super long time since I've had this, but yesterday morning I had an outfit in mind I was going to wear to church. And so I put it on and I didn't like it. And so I changed into a different shirt and I didn't like it. And I changed into a different shirt and I didn't like it. And then I finally found an outfit that I thought I felt comfortable in. And I went upstairs to my daughter's bathroom where she has a full length mirror. And I looked at that and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not wearing this. And so I go downstairs, completely change my outfit. Like at this point, we're almost late. Like I needed to get out to the truck. Completely change my outfit into something that I wear all the time, something like quote unquote safe, something that hides my body. Um, and I'm just mad. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm upset. Um, the same old things come into my head like I should be further along by now. There's no reason that I haven't lost more weight than this. Like, why isn't I'm putting in the work? I'm putting in like um eating the way that I want to be eating for the most part. If I'm really being honest with myself, that definitely could be cleaned up. But I'm eating less, I'm working out, I'm doing all the things, and this just isn't working. And I feel this almost conviction to start this community of women and to lead them and to help them and to promote weight loss. And I can't even lose weight myself. And at the end of the day, I have lost 15 pounds, which I haven't done basically in my adult life other than in really unhealthy ways. So I'm having this conflict going back and forth that I need to give myself time. I need to be nice to myself. That's one of the huge things that needs to change if you're going to lose weight is to stop being a drill sergeant to yourself. Um, but I felt all that stuff coming back and then I was hearing all these things and they were all like in combination with feeling like I'm just not the person to be starting this community that the Lord's calling me to start. And so I'm just crabby about it. I don't hardly talk all the way to church. I get into church. I just don't want to be there. I was just having one of those pity party moments. And right at the beginning of the service, my pastor starts talking about a family that is just kind of going through it. Like they're having a lot of, like, they're doing some really, really good things for the faith, for their church. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing. He never did say, he wasn't really specific about it, but um, they were doing something. They were moving in whatever God was calling them to do, anyways. And he said that they were just like getting bombarded with all of these outside things that a lot of people would think would be like, yeah, that means you're not doing what God's calling you to do. But in reality, it's spiritual warfare. And it hit me in the gut and I started crying. Everybody probably thought I was crazy. I mean, I cry a lot during church, but this is like I cry a lot during worship. Um, but this is like in the middle of the service and I just like lose it. Like I had to control myself because I really could have been sobbing in the middle of church. And it just hit me like the devil does not want you doing this. The enemy does not want you doing this. The enemy wants you to shrink back. The enemy wants you to get lost in all of these rules that all of the business coaches get, that, all of the algorithm stuff and all of the, you have to have a hook and you have to have a video this way and you have to do podcast that way. And, you have to have all these things a certain way or you're never going to get out to people. People are never going to see your stuff. Um, like to the point of it just causing me to shut down because it was like, I don't have anything to say. That's what I felt like. I don't have anything to say. And it was just like God was saying to me, this is what I have for you to do. You have compassion for these women because you've lived it. You've lived it your whole life. I've helped you out of it. I have opened your eyes to be able to see why food was becoming an idol, why you were turning to food instead of coming to me. I have convicted you to essentially come back to basics with everything. Just strip it all back to the simple things. Take away all of the rules and all of the legalism and all of the everything that I've lived in for so long. I've showed you all of this. Like, I just felt him saying, I've given you ways to move forward in your own weight loss. I've given you the desire. He's given me so many things to get well in my own body and to lose the weight that I've been carrying and to deal with the stress that I feel has been such a huge contributor to why I'm overweight. I just felt him saying to me that you're just like this family. I have this thing for you to do, and you're basically getting bombarded because Women need this. Women need you to step up and to help them stop running ahead and stopping and running ahead and stopping. I have stuff for them to do. And if you don't do what I'm calling you to do, that's a ripple effect. That's a ripple effect through families. I have so many coaching certifications and I love this stuff. I love learning about this stuff. Like that is what he has gifted me with. And it always brings up the parable of the talents in my mind too, that I don't want to be able, or I don't want to, take my last breaths and get to heaven and have to explain why I buried the talent that he gave me out of fear. And just hearing that story about that family just really hit me. Um, and obviously it wasn't coincidence that I had a closed meltdown yesterday morning, but just feeling like I can't do this. I'm not the right person for this. I don't look the part to do this. I still struggle. I still had a pile of clothes on my bed when I got home yesterday that I didn't wear because I didn't feel comfortable in them. And this is still a journey that I'm walking. It's so, so different than it's ever been. And I'm so different than I've ever been. But there's still going to be times where I slip up, and that's where the enemy hits you so hard. You know in your gut that the Lord is calling you to do something, whether that's weight loss or whether that's a business or whether that's just um, showing up better for your family or whether that's volunteering somewhere or whether that's getting a job outside of your home. I don't know what that is for you. I don't know what the Lord's calling you to, but for me, he is calling me to trust him with finances. He's calling me to trust him with my appetite. He's calling me to get into the Bible even more and apply it to my life and my situations and to walk out the things that he's already given us to do. And when you finally accept that that's what you're supposed to be doing, I mean, they always say that, the devil's not going to come for you if you're not doing anything. He's not going to waste his time on you if he doesn't need to. And so when all of that ramps up and the noise gets so loud in your head, you're onto something. But for so many of us, we just want to stay comfortable and we just want to stay complacent and we just want to stay lukewarm. And that's such an easy place to be. I've been there. Like, I specifically remember when I was turning 36 years old, I will not go into turning 37 the way I'm turning 36. And that's true because I have more debt and I have more weight to lose than I did then. I was so sure, but it was all words. There was no action to my words. And I think that that's also why I've been chasing all of these different things is because I haven't had the courage to just say, Lord, what do you want from me? And then to actually walk it out, regardless of what's happening, regardless of what other people might say, regardless of, um, whether this blows up and becomes huge overnight or whether it takes me 5 years. I don't know. But I was just so convicted that the enemy's just trying to keep me quiet. He's just trying to keep me quiet. And I know for me, it's really hard to see women that have lost a whole bunch of weight online to watch their stories because I feel like they don't understand where I'm at now. And the farther they get out from their weight loss, there's even more that I'm like, but did you really feel that way? Did that really happen? Um, Sometimes it's just easier when somebody's just a few steps ahead and can be like, yeah, I get it. I feel that too. I used to do that too, but here's what I do now and here's why it's different. Um, I think it's really easy to discount ourselves and to um just to fall into that trap that we can't do what we feel like we're being called to do, that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes, whatever those things are. And yesterday it just really hit me like really hard. There's been several times that has happened. Um, but I feel like every time I step out and and do something that I feel like I'm being called to do, those attacks just keep coming harder. But the Bible also says that if we resist the devil, he will flee. And so here I am. This is not scripted. I don't even have notes. I'm probably rambling. Um, everybody will say with the algorithm, you can't talk about more than one thing because they won't know who to put you in front of. But I'm just trusting that the Lord's going to do with this what he wants to do with it. And if it's confusing because I'm talking about business and I'm talking about weight loss and, all these different things, then I guess so be it. But I just feel the call to show up, and I just wanted to make it perfect. And I wanted to have the perfect script, and I wanted to have the perfect um, aesthetic and all these things. And he's saying, just open your mouth. Just open your mouth and invite women to come walk this out with you. And it's still messy. Like, guys, I'm not pretending this isn't messy. It is still messy. But I can tell you that I'm so much farther than I was. I'm so much further along than I was. And it's like at this point I can see the light at the end of the tunnel because I can catch those thoughts that are lies. I can catch those old things that I used to do and be like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I don't do that anymore. Like, pull it back in. Um, and so I really felt like I needed to share that because I feel like I'm just getting that message. Not only from church yesterday, but there's been a couple other things that I'm just like, yes, I hear you. I hear you. I'm going to step out in faith and I'm going to do this, and um let the Lord do with it what he will. So I know I've mentioned it probably a little bit vague throughout this, but like I said, I wanted the community to be accessible. It's less than a dinner out. Um, and there's going to be coaching, there's going to be live coaching, community of women that, like I said, you feel the call of something on your life. You feel the call to get your body in order. I mean, these times are crazy. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So if that's something that you want to do and you seem to run full steam ahead and then fall off the wagon, as they say, if that's your MO is to fall off the wagon, you are exactly who I'm talking to. We're not going to do that anymore. We might slip up, but we're going to get right back on, and we're going to get right back to what we know we should be doing. And I'm not going to lie with you guys. I am not someone that likes to coddle. The one thing that I like to say is I'm bold, but I offer a safe space. And I do want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to feel um, that you can be vulnerable and you can be real and you can bring things that are happening to our group. And I will be compassionate. I can promise you that. I will be compassionate because I've been you. I understand. I know what it's like, but I also don't want to let you stay there. I also know with everything in me that God is using my voice to call you out of the mud, to call you out of the dirty diaper, to not let you sit there any longer. It's time to do things that we're scared of doing or that we think we're going to fail at or whatever it is. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to even believe that you can do the thing that you're being called to do, but you know you're being called to do it. And the one thing that we're going to focus on in this group is weight loss, because I think if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I just think it's so, so important that we get back to a healthy place. Um, my goal is to lose at least 100 pounds. You do not have to have that goal to be welcome in this group. I don't even know if that's going to be my end goal. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. And that's not necessarily going to be a number on a scale. I just know for me, that's a good starting place, and I will readjust as necessary. Um, I just really have a heart for women that I've talked to a lot of women that say I can't I can't see it through. I can't stick with it. I can't walk it out. I just keep quitting and I don't want to do that anymore. And so that is who I'm being called to help. And if that is something that you're interested in, I would love to um, have you be in the group. There's also an option to have more one on one help if you have some things that you know are holding you back that you don't really want to talk about in a group setting, something that's more sensitive or more private. There is an option for that as well. So I will leave that down below. Doors are going to open on Monday, March 30th. So when you come in, there's going to be a course that you can start walking through, and you'll be getting written coaching within the private group. You can talk to each other, you can encourage each other. I will be in there every day. Um, I just had so many women ask me for community, and it's really hard to do that when the people that you're surrounded with are not on the same page. I actually wanted to share this real quick, and then I'm gonna shut this down for today. Um, but I heard this on, I always listen to Motiversity when I'm working out, and this was on there, and I just thought it was so good and so true, and how important it is that we surround ourselves with people that are willing to not let us live in the crap we live in. Like, not let us live in the victim mindset, or not let us stay when we know that there's somewhere that we need to go. And so it says, decide that you want to change your life. Decide that you know it's time. Decide that you've been here long enough. Accept that you have been broken, weary, and annoyed long enough. That is so me. That is so where I was at. The problem with many of you is that you are surrounded by people who ask you the wrong questions. That's so important to know the questions to ask. It's so important, guys. This is why when you're making decisions to change your life, you can't talk to people who are on your level, because they're going to tell you that it just makes sense to stay where you are, and to make that better when you know that there is something higher that is calling you. There's a better quality of life, there's an abundance, there's an expectation, a passion, a new life that is calling you. And everybody on your level will convince you to stay where you're at, because they're stuck in a place called comfort. Are you willing to be uncomfortable? And that is one thing that I have fallen into that trap as well, is seeking comfort, seeking quick and easy, and not wanting to be uncomfortable, and kind of chasing down comfort at every turn in every area of my life. And it's gotten me nowhere. And like I said, I don't know if it's my age. I don't know if it's a filter coming off. I don't know if I'm just coming back to who God created me to be before fear took over. That's probably actually what it is. But I'm just ready to speak up and to, if you want to stay in your comfortable misery, that's your choice. You get to do that. If you want to argue for that, like, more power to you. But for those of you that are tired of the constant cycle of start and stop, and you're tired of living in a life that just doesn't feel like it has purpose, or it feels like you have more to do in this world, or you're tired of chasing weight loss that never seems to come, we're going to take it back to the basics, and we're going to take it back to the simple things. And simple things are really, they're simple, but they're not always easy. But if you come into our group, we're not going to let you quit just because it gets uncomfortable. We have to learn to enjoy uncomfortable if we want to change. And so, again, I'm going to shut down this rambling, but if this is something you guys are interested in, I would love for you to walk this out with me. I'm not changing it again. This is what it is. I'm going to be preaching this for the foreseeable future until the Lord tells me different. But like I said, it's less than a dinner out. I want everybody that wants to be in to have access to it. And there's also the option for more one-on-one support if that's something that you would rather have. So you can check that out as well. I will talk to you guys next time. And until then, I hope you guys step out of the fear that's holding you back and step into what you know that God's calling you to do. Bye, guys. See you next time.